My husband said, "Whatever you see tonight, don't panic." Then he drove us somewhere I never knew existed. Those were the last calm words I remember before the world cracked open. The gate slid apart like a mouth. Not a normal gate. This one was hidden behind a dead billboard and a row of quiet trees. We drove down into a place that felt like it was built to swallow secrets. Bright white lights turned on by themselves. Cameras followed us. Doors locked behind us with soft clicks that sounded louder than screams. I felt my heart race. "Ethan," I whispered, my fingers digging into my seatbelt. "Where are we?" He didn't look at me. His hands stayed steady on the wheel. His voice was gentle, almost kind. "Whatever you see tonight, don't panic." We parked in a wide room that smelled like metal and rain. Men in dark suits stood far away, like shadows that learned how to walk. Then I noticed the woman sitting beside me. She wasn't there before. I froze. She leaned close, her voice low and calm. "I'll explain everything," she hid.
She.
I turned to Ethan. He finally looked at me. His eyes were full of something I had never seen before. Relief.
And fear.
"If you want to know what happens next, if you want the truth behind the gate, the woman, and the secret my husband buried, please watch, and subscribe. You'll want to hear every word." My name is Claire Miller. I grew up in a small town in Ohio, the kind where everyone waves and nothing ever happens. My parents were simple people. My dad fixed cars. My mom baked pies and believed love could fix anything. I believed that too. That's probably why I married Ethan. Ethan Carter was smart, calm, and careful. He worked in finance. He smiled with his eyes. He promised me safety. We had one daughter, Lily, who loved dinosaurs and pink shoes. Our life looked perfect from the outside. White house. Neat lawn. Birthday candles every year. But love has quiet cracks. I remember the day the cracks started to show. Ethan began coming home late. He guarded his phone like it was a sleeping baby. When I asked questions, he kissed my forehead and said, "Trust me."
So I did. Trust is a soft thing.
It breaks easily. One night, I found a receipt in his jacket. Not from a store. From a law office. Another night, I heard him whisper my name into the phone. Angry, scared. When I walked in, he smiled and said it was work. Then Lily got sick. It was sudden. One moment she was running. The next, she was in a hospital bed with wires on her chest. Doctors spoke in careful words. Bills came like waves. Ethan paid everything fast. Too fast. I asked him how. He said, "I told you. Trust me." I trusted him. Until the night, he said we were going for a drive. He dressed in black.
No tie.
No watch. He told me to wear something warm. Lily was asleep at home with my sister. Ethan kissed her head like it might be the last time. On the road, the city lights faded. My phone lost signal. The radio went quiet. Then the gate appeared. Back to the woman beside me. She wore a simple gray suit. No jewelry. No smile. Her hair was tied back tight. She looked at me like she had been waiting. "My name is Rachel Stone," she said. "I'm here because your husband can't tell you the truth alone." I laughed once. A short, scared sound. "What truth?" Rachel nodded toward Ethan. "About the money. About the files. About the woman who disappeared." My stomach dropped. "Disappeared?" I said. Ethan shut his eyes. Rachel continued, calm as rain. "Claire, 3 years ago, your husband helped put an innocent woman in prison. He hid evidence. He signed papers that sent her away. He did it to protect someone." I stared at Ethan.
Who?
Rachel looked at me gently. "You." The room felt smaller. Ethan spoke fast, like he was afraid to stop. "I didn't mean for it to go that far.
I just needed time.
I just needed to keep us safe." "From what?"
I asked.
"From the truth," Rachel said. "And from what happens next." A door opened across the room. I heard footsteps. Heavy ones. Rachel leaned closer to me. "The woman your husband framed is my sister." My chest burned. "Where is she?" "In prison," Rachel said. "Until tonight." Sirens wailed far away. Screens lit up. Names scrolled. My name was on one of them. I stood up, shaking. Ethan, tell me this is a joke.
He reached for my hand.
I pulled away.
I loved you, I said.
I still do, he whispered. The door across the room opened wider. Men stepped in. Rachel stood. Claire Miller, you have a choice to make. Stay silent or tell the truth. Either way, everything changes tonight. Then the handcuffs came out, and I realized the drive was never about showing me a place I didn't know existed. It was about deciding who I would become when the truth finally caught up with us. The cold metal snapped around my wrists before I could even breathe again. I remember the sound first.
Click, click.
It was calm, neat, like someone closing a box. A box meant for me. Claire Miller, one of the men said, reading from a screen. You are being detained for questioning related to obstruction of justice.
Detained.
Not arrested.
That word was meant to feel soft.
It didn't.
Ethan, I said.
My voice sounded far away, like it belonged to someone else. Say something. He stood there.
Silent. Still.
The man who used to calm my fears with one hand on my back could not even look at me. Rachel stepped between us. She didn't know, she said clearly. Everything was hidden from her. One of the men nodded. Another didn't. I was led into a narrow room with bright lights and white walls. No windows. A table. 2 chairs. They took the cuffs off but left the door locked. The silence was loud. I thought of Lily. I thought of her small hands, the way she slept with her mouth open, the way she said, "Mommy," when she was scared. I felt something shift inside me. Something hard. Rachel came in a few minutes later. Alone. They're questioning Ethan now, she said. Is he blaming me? I asked. She didn't answer right away. That told me everything. I laughed. It came out broken. Of course he is. Rachel sat across from me. Claire, listen to me. I didn't come here to hurt you. I came here for the truth. You came here for revenge, I said. She nodded once.
Yes.
But not against you. She told me about her sister, Megan Stone. A school teacher.
Kind.
Quiet. Megan had found missing numbers in a company Ethan worked with. She reported it. The next week, police came to her house. Evidence showed up that didn't belong to her. Bank records. Emails.
Lies.
She screamed my name in court, Rachel said softly. The judge didn't listen. I felt sick. Ethan said it was for us. He always does, Rachel said. That's how he survives. Hours passed. Or minutes. Time felt wrong. Then the door opened again. A lawyer walked in. My lawyer. Ethan's lawyer. Claire, he said kindly. I'm here to help. I stared at him. Did my husband send you? Yes, he said. That was my first mistake. Trusting that word again. They let me go home that night. No charges. Not yet. Ethan came home too. Quiet. Careful. He hugged Lily like nothing was wrong. He kissed my cheek like it was normal. I didn't sleep. The next weeks were slow and heavy. Ethan went to work. Rachel disappeared. News vans sat 2 streets away. Neighbors whispered. Lily asked why Mommy cried in the shower. Then the letter came. Court summons. Not for Ethan. For me. The charge was clear. Lying under oath. Signing false documents. Helping hide evidence. I confronted Ethan in the kitchen. You said you protected me.
I did, he snapped.
I protected us. By giving them my name?
I asked.
You signed the papers, he said. You didn't read them. That's not my fault. That was the moment something inside me finally broke all the way. The court days were long.
Cold.
The room smelled like old wood and power. Ethan sat across the room, clean and calm. His lawyer smiled. Mine avoided my eyes. Rachel sat behind me. Always there. Watching. They showed my signature on the screen. Over and over. They played my voice from a call Ethan recorded without telling me. Me saying, I trust you. The judge looked tired. The sentence came fast. 6 months. Not prison.
Jail.
The sound of the gavel ended the life I knew. Jail was gray.
Loud. Angry.
Nights were the worst. I slept on a thin bed and counted Lily's birthdays I might miss. Other women stared. Some laughed. Some cried. Rachel visited me once.
I'm sorry, she said.
I'm not, I replied. Not anymore. She raised an eyebrow. I trusted the wrong person, I said. I won't do that again. I learned things in jail.
Who talks?
Who listens? How secrets move. I learned Ethan was cutting deals, giving names, saving himself. I also learned Megan Stone's case was being reopened. When I got out, Ethan didn't come to get me. Rachel did. She drove me home.
Packed boxes, sat on the porch.
He filed for divorce, Rachel said. I nodded. Good. Inside the house felt empty.
My clothes were gone.
Lily's room was untouched. Where's my daughter? I asked. Rachel hesitated. That pause again. She's with Ethan, Rachel said. Temporary order. My knees gave out. That night, I sat alone in the dark house and opened the last thing Ethan forgot to take. A small black flash drive. I plugged it in. Files opened. Emails. Payments. Names. Judges. Police officers. Everything. My hands shook as I smiled for the first time in months. Because now I understood. Ethan didn't just betray me. He taught me how to destroy him. And as the screen lit up with proof that could burn down everything he built, my phone buzzed with one new message from an unknown number. If you release those files, your daughter disappears. The message stayed on my phone like a stain I couldn't wash off. If you release those files, your daughter disappears. I sat on Lily's bed long after midnight, holding her small pink dinosaur. The room still smelled like her shampoo. I pressed my face into the pillow and cried without sound. Not loud, not messy, just slow tears that burned my eyes. A mother knows fear, but this kind of fear was different. It didn't scream. It whispered. It said, choose wrong and you lose everything. The next morning, I did what Ethan expected. I stayed quiet. I answered his lawyer's calls. I nodded when he said we should handle this calmly. I didn't mention the flash drive. I didn't mention the threat. I played the role he taught me well. But inside, something else was happening. Rachel came to my house every afternoon. To the outside world, she was just a friend bringing food. To me, she was my anchor. My mirror. My reminder that truth still mattered. She's okay, Rachel said one day, handing me her phone. Lily's face filled the screen. She smiled. Mommy, Daddy says you're busy. I swallowed hard. I'm always thinking about you, baby. After the call ended, I broke down. Rachel held my shoulders. We will not lose her.
How?
I whispered. He owns judges.
Police.
Even my silence. Rachel looked at me with sharp eyes. He doesn't own time. And he doesn't own you. We worked quietly. At night, after pretending to sleep, I opened the flash drive again. We copied everything. Every email. Every payment. Every lie. Rachel's sister Megan was still in prison, but her lawyer was ready. Waiting. Ethan called me often. His voice was sweet again. Claire, he said one evening, you've been through enough. Let me fix this. You already did, I replied softly.
He laughed.
That's my girl. I wanted to scream. Court was coming again. This time it was about custody. Ethan wanted full control. The judge smiled at him. The same judge from before. My hands shook as I sat at the table. Rachel sat behind me. I didn't look back. If I did, I might fall apart. Ethan spoke first. She's unstable, he said gently. Jail changed her. I only want what's best for Lily. The judge nodded. My turn came. I stood up slowly. I made mistakes, I said. I trusted my husband. That was my biggest one. Ethan's smile tightened. But my daughter is not a mistake, I continued. And I will not disappear for her to be safe. The judge leaned forward. Mrs. Miller. Before he could finish, the doors at the back of the court opened. Rachel stood. Your Honor, she said clearly, before you rule, new evidence has been submitted. The room stirred. Ethan turned. His eyes met mine. For the first time, I saw real fear. Screens lit up. Emails appeared. Payments. Messages between Ethan and the judge. Gasps filled the room. "This is illegal," Ethan shouted. "She stole that." Rachel spoke calmly.
No.
"She survived it." The judge went pale. Police officers stepped forward. Ethan looked at me like a stranger. "You did this?" he asked. I met his eyes. "You taught me how." He was taken away in handcuffs. I didn't feel happy. I felt empty. But it wasn't over. Outside the courtroom, Rachel grabbed my arm. "We need to move fast." "Why?" I asked. "Because when men like Ethan fall," she said, "they pull hard on the last thing they own." My phone buzzed. Another message. "You broke the rules. Come alone if you want your daughter." There was an address. A place I recognized. The gate. My heart dropped into my stomach. Rachel shook her head. "Don't go." "He is Lily," I said. "We'll call the police." "He owns half of them," I replied. I got into my car. Rachel followed behind, crying into her phone. The gate opened again. The lights came on again. But this time, I wasn't afraid. Ethan stood in the center of the room. No suit. No smile. Lily sat beside him, holding her dinosaur. "Mommy," she said softly. I ran to her and pulled her close. Ethan's voice was cold. "You ruined me." "You ruined yourself," I said. He laughed. "You think this ends here?" Sirens wailed outside. Rachel's voice echoed through speakers. "Ethan Carter, it's over." Ethan stepped back. And then, everything went dark. The lights shut off. A loud bang echoed through the room. And Lily screamed. The scream cut through the darkness like a knife. "Lily," I shouted, dropping to my knees and pulling her tight against my chest. Her little heart was beating fast. Too fast. The room was pitch black. No lights. No cameras. Just breathing.
Mine. Hers.
And Ethan somewhere in the dark. "Don't move," he said. His voice was shaking now. "They can't see us." "You're wrong," I said, holding Lily's face so close I could feel her breath. "They see everything." Red lights flashed. Then white. The room exploded with sound.
Boots. Shouts.
Orders. Someone grabbed Ethan.
He fought.
He screamed my name like I was the one betraying him. "Claire, tell them to stop." I didn't answer. Lily clung to me as officers rushed in. One covered her eyes. Another wrapped a blanket around her shoulders. I felt hands on my back, steady and strong. Rachel's voice cut through the noise. "She's safe. The child is safe." Ethan was dragged past me, his face twisted and wild. "You think you won?" he shouted. "You think this makes you clean?" I looked at him for a long moment. "No," I said quietly. "It makes me free." He was gone. The next days felt unreal. Megan Stone walked out of prison with tears on her face and sunlight in her eyes. She hugged Rachel so hard they almost fell over. When she hugged me, she whispered, "Thank you for choosing the truth."
I didn't feel brave.
I felt tired. The judge who smiled at Ethan was arrested. So were 2 officers. So were 3 men whose names I never knew, but whose signatures ruined lives. Ethan went to trial. This time, there were no favors. The courtroom was full. News cameras. Reporters. People who once waved at us now watched like strangers. Ethan sat alone. Smaller. Quieter. I testified. My hands shook, but my voice didn't. I told them about trust. About papers I didn't read. About a love that slowly turned into a cage. About a man who used fear to stay powerful. Ethan didn't look at me once. The sentence came down heavy.
Long.
Final. When they took him away, I felt nothing at first. Then I felt everything. I cried in the bathroom until my knees hurt. Not for him. For the woman I used to be. Life didn't become perfect after that. Healing never does. Lily had nightmares for a while. She slept in my bed. I held her until the shaking stopped. We went to therapy. We painted pictures. We learned how to feel safe again. I got full custody. The house felt warmer with just us. Rachel stayed in our lives. Megan too. They weren't reminders of pain anymore. They were proof that truth can still win, even when it's late. One evening, Lily looked up at me and asked, "Mommy, are you brave?" I thought about the gate, the darkness, the scream. I was scared, I said honestly. She smiled. You still came. That night, after she fell asleep, I stood by the window and looked out at the quiet street. Same houses, same lights, a different world. Revenge didn't come from hurting Ethan the way he hurt me. It came from refusing to disappear, from standing up when silence felt easier, from choosing my child over fear, from telling the truth even when my voice shook. If you're listening to this and you feel trapped, if someone told you to stay quiet to stay safe,
Know this.
fear is loud, but truth lasts longer. And sometimes, the bravest thing a woman can do is stop protecting the lie and start protecting herself. My name is Claire Miller, and this is where my story ends.